fatal mistake.
Also, have you thrown in the towel yet on your New Year's diet resolution? Learn the top 10 mistakes people make when they try to lose weight. Next. Good evening, everyone. The international manhunt for Christian Longo is finally over. Police believe the 27-year-old man killed his wife and 3 children on the Oregon coast in late December.
Detectives discovered Longo on a Mexican beach over the weekend, and tonight he sits in a jail in Houston, Texas. KPTV's David Wilson has been following this story from the beginning. He's in news control with details of Longo's arrest. Dave?
With help from the Mexican police, Sunday night special agents from the Federal Bureau of Investigation discovered Longo camping on a beach 60 miles south of Cancun. Tonight, authorities credit intense international publicity for Longo's capture. After just 3 days on the FBI's 10 most wanted list, Christian Longo finds himself in handcuffs on his way to a Houston jail.
He voluntarily agreed to accompany the FBI agents on the flight from Cancun to Houston. Of course, at Houston, he was taken into custody, federal custody.
Police suspect Longo stole a credit card and ID from Charles Malarkey at a Starbucks in Newport, and then used the information to purchase an American Airlines ticket to Mexico.
I've never laid eyes on this guy, and I've never had any association with him at all, and it appears to be just a matter of him going through, I understand he was employed there and somehow got a hold of my credit card.
A Canadian woman who met Longo at this youth hostel in Cancun on December 27th says Longo first referred to himself as Brad and then Michael. After returning home to Montreal and watching news reports, she phoned the FBI.
She had recently traveled to Cancun and recognized the photograph of Christian Longo.
Longo stayed at the youth hostel from late December until January 7th, when police say he was asked to leave after money was stolen. He then moved to a beach 60 miles south, where he's lived for the last week in a grass hut under the name of Michael Longo. Mexican police arrested him Sunday evening.
He was living in a beach camp down in Tulum. Very modest resources. He was staying with one other individual who apparently does not know who he was or why he was wanted.
Longo agreed to accompany the FBI back to Texas, which allowed the investigators to avoid the often sticky extradition procedure from Mexico. In Houston, Longo faces federal charges for unlawful flight to avoid prosecution. After he's arraigned on that, authorities will attempt to extradite him back to Oregon to face aggravated murder charges in the deaths of his family.
KPTV's David Wilson, thank you.
Relatives of both Mary Jane and Christian Longo are relieved tonight. KPTV's Carrie Tomlinson has reaction now from their families.
Christian Longo's family had been begging him to turn himself in. Mary Jane Longo's family, some of them thought they too could become victims. Now both families are glad that Christian Longo has been caught, and they are looking ahead to the next step, going to court. Mary Jane and Christian met in church and married. Her family was impressed by Christian's charm and professionalism, though he was 8 years younger than she. It all crumbled. Mary Jane and the children murdered. Longo now arrested. Mary Jane's mother, Susan Lowry, spoke by phone from Alabama.
I'm very grateful for all the effort that went into finding him. And it's a big relief because we know that he can't hurt anybody else, and that maybe we can find some answers as to what happened to my daughter and the children. My daughter and the grandchildren are dead, and nothing can help that, but it's just a relief to know that he's caught.
Mary Jane's family says the couple did show some signs of trouble, living beyond their means, buying expensive cars, boats, and snowmobiles, but going without health insurance for the children. At one point, Mary Jane's siblings tracked her down and begged her to come home. She would not.
He deserves to be punished to the full extent of the law, whatever they decide to do. I will never see my sister again, and he's still alive.
Longo's family is thanking the public for their help in finding him.
We are pleased that Christian has been located so quickly.
A family spokesperson says they are relieved the uncertainty is over and a new phase is beginning.
Perhaps now the family can begin to understand what happened, and we may be able to have some kind of closure. Obviously, there is still much to be answered and endured during the legal process in Oregon.
Mary Jane's father, Jim Baker, gave his thoughts on a possible motive for the murders in an interview with a Detroit newspaper. He says he believes his daughter was naive and would have at first believed anything Christian told her. But he says she probably would have grown homesick as they lived a life on the run from their debts. and she at one point would have put her foot down and said she wanted to go home with the children. That, he believes, could have been a turning point in their relationship and possibly a reason for the killings. Back to you.
People in Newport are also feeling relief tonight that Longo's been captured. Here's what some of them had to say today.
I'm glad he's been caught. The sooner he was caught, the better, before, he could do any more damage.
We're glad that he's caught and puts that to rest, and now we'll see what happens. There's a lot of justice here to be served, one way or the other, so with whomever's guilty.
It's difficult for a community that's as close-knit and tight as we are to understand why 3 children and a mother needed to die, especially the gruesome death that it appears that they received.
Christian Longo was on the run for about 3 weeks. Here is a look at the timeline of events. In December, Christian Longo was staying at the Landing in Newport. Employees say they last saw him December 18th. The next day, the body of Zachary Longo is found in the water near Waldport, and a Dodge Durango turns up missing at a dealership in Wilsonville. On December 22nd, divers find the body of Zachary's sister, Sadie. The next day, Christian Longo is spotted in San Francisco staying at a youth hostel. The day after Christmas, Longo applies for a job at a Starbucks in San Francisco, but never shows up for his interview. December 27th, divers find more bodies, Longo's wife Mary Jane and another daughter Madison. At the same time, Longo takes a plane to Cancun under a false name. That day, he also meets a Montreal woman who later learns his real identity and turns him in. After weeks of searching, police find the stolen Dodge Durango at the San Francisco airport. And finally, on the 13th, they arrest Christian Longo south of Cancun, Mexico, living in a grass hut.
Because he left on his own free will and was not extradited out of Mexico, prosecutors are free to seek the death penalty against Longo. Longo faces 7 counts of aggravated murder. Tonight, the Lincoln County District Attorney Bernice Barnett says she has decided whether to seek the death penalty against Longo. But at this point, she will not disclose what her decision is.
Of course, this is a very serious case, and we're working on it continually. We're doing that, both the investigators and the lawyers are working on the case. But, legally, this case is one that we will handle, we'll process, and we'll be fine.
Oregon authorities are in the process of extraditing Longo back to Lincoln County to face murder charges. The first of those hearings begins next week in Texas. It could take as long as 2 weeks to bring the suspected killer back to Oregon if he fights the extradition process. Well, tonight we would like your opinion. Should the DA seek the death penalty against Christian Longo? That's our 12 Talkback online poll. Log on to our website, Oregons12.tv, and see results tomorrow on the 10 o'clock news.
Now for the rest of the day's news, a Longview man is in jail tonight on $1 million bail, accused of injuring 3 people in a shooting spree. But that's not all. Police say 38-year-old Michael Pogue first drove his pickup truck through the front door of Northgate City Church in Kelso last night. A neighbor heard the commotion and went to help. He says that's when Pogue pulled a gun and started shooting.
He was backing his rig back out of the building. And as he's backing his rig back out of the building, he got out and he was yelling some lady's name, just yelling her name and stomping around. Then he went back to his rig, grabbed his gun, and started shooting. And once he started shooting, he never stopped. I ran back in the house, and I hid.
And police say Pogue didn't stop his shooting spree until after he reached an apartment complex a few blocks away. That's when he shot 3 people. A 20-year-old woman remains in fair condition tonight. She was shot in the chest. 2 other victims were treated and released. Police say Pogue voluntarily gave up after the shooting.
Dozens of homes and cars along the path of that shooting spree also became targets. KPTV's Rebecca Wu spoke with one family who says they're grateful to be alive.
He was here somewhere. He had to get that angle to shoot that window out.
That window was inches away from Raymond Calkins' head. He and his wife were sitting in the living room enjoying a movie when they were suddenly attacked.
I heard glass breaking. I thought, oh my gosh. And the hair on my head was standing on end.
They had no idea what was happening until Raymond crawled to another window and looked out.
Lifted this up and peeked under there, and I see him standing there shooting at the house.
Here's what probably saved their lives.
That's vinyl right there.
Vinyl windows they installed to block out highway noise.
Keeps the sound out, and what it did was kept the pellets from coming into the house.
But in rooms without the soundproof windows, the pellets blasted through.
You've been standing in front of this window with the window up, you've been dead. We killed you.
You can see the trail of spent shells all along the side of the house. And when you get to the front of the house, police have counted 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 spent shells just in the driveway alone. And there are a lot more orange markings out along the street.
When he came down the driveway shooting, I told Marilyn, he's coming in.
Raymond says he didn't have a gun to defend his family, so he strategically hid at the top of the stairway.
And if he came up the stairs, I could take him down the stairs.
But the gunman left.
Oh, my gosh.
The Calkins can now laugh, but only out of relief.
He could have easily killed us all.
In Kelso, Washington, Rebecca Wu, the 10 o'clock news.
Well, today, Michael Pogue, that's him right there, appeared in Cowlitz County Court. Charges have not yet been filed against him. He will probably be arraigned later this week. Police say he fired as many as 50 rounds at houses and an apartment building.
Clark County Sheriff's deputies have arrested the daughter-in-law of a woman found murdered in Brush Prairie. Last Thursday, Marlene Johnson was found dead in her home. Her car had been stolen and her house robbed. An autopsy shows she died from head injuries. Police later found the stolen car. On Saturday, they arrested 19-year-old Sean Correa. Today, deputies arrested Mrs. Johnson's daughter-in-law, 23-year-old Sophia Johnson. Correa and Johnson are both charged with first-degree murder, burglary, and robbery.
More human remains have washed up on the Oregon coast. 2 skeletal remains were found along Agate Beach State Park this weekend. A person walking along the beach discovered the remains near the high tide line. The remains were taken to the state medical examiner's office for identification. Investigators think they might be those of a fishing crew that sank with their vessel just off the coast last month.
People in Lebanon, Oregon are dealing with the deaths of 4 young men there. They were killed early Sunday morning in a head-on crash on the Oregon coast. KPTV's Jim Hyde takes us to Lebanon High School, where students and teachers are trying to honor their memory.
A handmade memorial is growing outside Lebanon High. Candles flickering in a January wind made colder by the death of 4 classmates. Students signed cards of condolence for Sam Wilson, 18, Logan Branham, 19, Wade Brown, 18, and 17-year-old Casey Jones.
He's got an upbeat attitude. He liked to do things with animals and plants.
Teacher Sherry Fuller remembered curly-haired Casey Jones fondly. She also taught Sam Wilson, whom she said had math skills that he used to help classmates who were struggling with the subject. All of Lebanon is struggling with the loss, the 4 young men killed, and the serious injury to a 5th, 17-year-old Eric LaFond, whose car was hit early Sunday morning on Highway 101 near Newport. State police say a car driven by Pedro Neri Perez of Klamath Falls crossed into their lane. He's charged with manslaughter and driving under the influence.
Looks like they ended up at the wrong place at the wrong time. And as far as how it happened, obviously I'm not really happy that drunk driver hit him.
Parents, grandparents, and friends of Wade Brown are coming together to bear the sadness.
It's sad because I knew all the kids, him and Sam kind of growing up together, and you know, they're like 4 amigos, 5 amigos. I mean, they always hung out and they were always safe.
They have poems inside of them.
Fellow students record their feelings on cards meant for the family and for each other as they line up to sign the placards, trying to assure everyone the 4 will be remembered.
Very, very polite young men. And that's part of what hurts so much. They're such good kids.
Teacher Marty Mundy is speaking first of Logan Branham, who earned credits in his class, and Wade Brown, who no longer will occupy a prominent place in his classroom.
Very tough on my classes today, a lot of tears. You know, to look at Wade's seat, he sat right in front of my desk 3 periods out of the day, and to see that empty is just, for me, is very tough.
Mortality is a subject high school students don't study much. It is on everyone's schedule now in Lebanon. Jim Hyde, the 10 o'clock news.
The only one of the 5 friends to survive, 17-year-old Eric LaFond, is listed in serious condition tonight at Legacy Emanuel Hospital here in Portland.
The woman accused of driving drunk and hitting a Portland motorcycle officer was arraigned in court today. Linda Abels was arraigned on charges of assault in the 2nd degree, DUII, reckless endangering, reckless driving, and 2nd-degree criminal mischief. Police say the 21-year-old college student drove into Officer Christopher Guzman's path, severely injuring him. He remains in serious condition tonight at Emanuel Hospital.
A boy struck by a car while pushing a grocery cart hasn't improved tonight. Michael John was pushing the cart in the crosswalk on Southeast Stark when a car struck him Saturday night. He was taken to a hospital, treated for a skull fracture and other injuries. He is in serious condition. Police say it doesn't appear speed or alcohol was a factor in the crash. That crosswalk, we're told, has been the location of several serious crashes between cars and people. No charge is expected against the driver.
Well, if you've been outside tonight, you know it's getting awfully cold out there.
In fact, it could be the coldest night of the year. KPTV meteorologist Rod Hill up on the weather deck with the very latest. Rodney?
Well, at least there's no wind tonight, so not much of a wind chill, but it's that lack of wind that will allow the air temperature itself to really nosedive by tomorrow morning. You know, the coldest we've been so far, only 29 degrees. I think there is a good chance that officially at the airport we will go quite a bit colder than that. Here's what the current temperatures are across the region. 35 in Vancouver, 35 at Portland. Hillsborough already down to freezing, as is Aurora and McMinnville at 31 degrees. Skies are continuing to become perfectly clear across the region. And as I mentioned, with the calm wind, and we should really cool off. The reason for the coldness, an air feed that's actually coming from inland up into Canada. And you can see the clouds just kind of breaking apart across the northwest tonight as high pressure builds in. We'll talk more about that. Also take a look at how many times during a winter month of January, that is, that we typically see freezing temperatures. All of that in my pinpoint forecast tonight, coming at about 10:33.
All right, Rod, thanks.
Coming up, they're calling him Prince Harry Pothead. He's admitted to smoking pot and partying. Tonight we visit the pub where Harry took part in a royal scandal.
Also, from the drawing board to real-life use, the inventor of the Segway is taking the new transportation device out on the road for a tryout. We'll have that story.
Plus, back in business after a brush with a choke-provoking pretzel. President Bush laughs off his latest health scare. The latest just ahead.
Christian Longo, the man accused of killing his wife and 3 children and leaving their bodies on the Oregon coast, has been arrested. Joining us on the telephone this morning is Susan Lowry. She is the mother of Mary Jane Longo.
It's a big relief because we know that he can't hurt anybody else, and that maybe we can find some answers as to what happened to my daughter and the children.
When reviewing the Lexus LS 430, Automobile Magazine said, no car in this class has more inviting leather, a more comfortable ride, a superior stereo, or a more logical navigation system. Automobile Magazine named the LS 430 the best luxury sedan over $40,000. To its owners, it's the best luxury sedan in the world. The LS 430 at Lexus of Portland.
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
Thanks for all your help.
It's my job.
Wow.
Honey, can we start now?
Yes. Yes, we can.
We know how you feel, and that's why we're here. Circuit City. We're with you.
Yeah, just put that anywhere.
What is this?
Thanks to Quest Security Screen, this is what you hear when an unidentified telemarketer calls. This is what the telemarketer hears.
If you are a solicitor, please hang up now.
Quest Security Screen works with caller ID to help stop unidentified telemarketers before your phone even rings. Order Quest Security Screen today and get 30 days free. Quest, ride the light.
It's big. It's bad. It's bold. It's the all-new Dodge Ram.
Now everyone will see our family crest.
Everybody loves racing, where love is a full-contact sport.
Weeknight on KPTV, Oregon's 12.
Live, Kurt Ludlow, Shauna Parsons, meteorologist Rod Hill, and Tim Becker Sports. This is the 10 o'clock news.
The U.S. is wrapping up the bombing of a massive terrorist camp in eastern Afghanistan.
The entrances to some 50 caves have been closed by the bombing, and about 60 above-ground structures have been destroyed. Also, a second group of al-Qaeda and Taliban detainees going through an in-processing system at the U.S. Navy base at Guantanamo Bay, Cuba. The Pentagon says the military is exploring ways to stop the around-the-clock anti-terrorism patrols that fighter jets have been flying over American cities since September 11th. They've gotten too expensive. The search will continue for the 7th Marine killed in a plane crash in Pakistan last week. The remains of the other 6 victims have arrived at Dover Air Force Base in Delaware. Workers line up for free medical exams at a mobile health clinic in Lower Manhattan. The health checks are designed for the workers who were involved with cleanup in buildings or World Trade